I'm at the London Landmark Hotel for the European Public Real Estate Association's annual convention. Joining me is Aldo Mazzocco, CEO of Beni Stabili. Aldo, I'd like to first get your opinion on your outlook for the European real estate market over the next 12 months.
Let me say that I changed my opinion in the last 2 months because the horizon seems again rather dark. So I think that realistically our sector will face not an exciting season in the next 12 months with different situation, but generally rather gloomy in different countries. And I think the driver of the market will be strictly linked to the evolution of the economic trends in the single countries. Because let me say that the problem of refinancing of the portfolio with the banks under stress like they are because of the markets, because of the Basel III constraints and so on, the capability to keep your tenants happy and paying the rents and that this level of rents, the capability to keep the occupancy and so on. So I think that in the next 12 months we will face really a real estate linked to the economic movement of Main Street. Let me say, less attention to yield compression and so on.
And now specifically focusing on your core area, the Italian office market, what do you see there for the next 12 months?
The Italian market, as usual, is rather different from the other markets because of its specificity. Is not so transparent. It's mostly private and dominated by private investors and families. Let me say that what I'm rather sure of is that the good part of the market, that means trophy assets or asset well rented in good conditions in strong location of the main cities of the country, mainly in Rome and Milan, remains probably one of the strongest markets in Europe. The problems are getting more and more serious in the weak part of the country and the weak part of the cities. Let me say it's a sort of Darwinian selection that is going through in a country that, when the market is positive, creates real estate everywhere. So it's a positive trend, but you have to be careful where you are invested because otherwise you risk a lot.
And as an EPRA member, what do you think EPRA's main focus should be over the next year?
But I think that the things that EPRA is following are the right ones. Not too many, but good enough. The sustainability problems, the fact that we need a clear view of the green building recommendations and so on. We have to avoid to suffer from imposed rules that would create problems on the cost side and so on, maybe not paid by the market. And on the other side, I think that the main mission of EPRA, that I understand, is to promote the European public real estate in the world in terms of investors is well performed. It's a long trip, but I think we are in the right directions.
In the U.S., when I speak to U.S. REIT CEOs, they all almost to a man say that their performance and the company's growth is all tied to jobs. Well, what about your company? What do you see as some of the main drivers for growth?
Growth in this moment, specifically in this moment in Italy, is not probably so easy to reach. We were preparing ourselves for growth in June and July, but honestly we stopped everything at the end of July. Fortunately, our operative activities are going exactly as forecast, and we have no pressure on the vacancy ratio, no pressure on rents, and we are still performing as forecast. But in order to invest the equity of our shareholder, we have to be careful because Italy is suffering a sort of South European syndrome, and anything we can do, they consider Italy a part of South Europe. It's true. And I'm not so negative about my country because I know deeply the economy of my country, but I understand that from official figures and from abroad, it's not so easy to be confident. as a private investor, I have all my investment in Italy, so I'm not worried about that.
Looking within Italy, are there any sectors, we talked about the office market, any other sectors that are performing maybe particularly well or possibly have some more silver linings?
But today, the sector that seems clearly resilient and strong, sometimes surprisingly strong, are high street retails, some location for shopping centers, not all the location, but some location remains very strong. And trophy assets are, as usual, one of the favorite investments of the Italians that so used to storms and crises, every time instinctively moves to the trophy asset as a sort of gold investment. It's not so easy to understand because they invest at 3% of entry yield, but it's a form of defense. It's the scarcity of product we have also that helps that.
And my last question is just, if you could just tell me a little bit about how the 2007 integration with Foncière des Régions benefited your company and how going into the future that will continue to assist.
We can say that we married with Foncière des Régions exactly at the beginning of the crisis. So we experienced any sort of position in our relationship. Let me say, synergies are not so easy to be taken out because the two markets are quite different. There is a structural spread of yield, for instance, more than 100 bips between the two countries. And what I appreciated better is the exchange of experience, the exchange of, let me say, feeling we had. We imported in Italy clearly best practice from a modern market, transparent market with a lot of players and so on. And we imported also more attention to the recurrent yield of an asset that was totally out of mind for the Italian investor. I think that in Paris we understood that sometimes the quality and the intrinsic quality of buildings sometimes has to be paid off because during the 2009 crisis, let me say, the quality of the building was important for the NAV and so on. Out of that, apart from some financial optimization and so on, we have to remain local managers because the market are, sometimes in Italy cities are different one from the other one, so let me say. But I think it's been a successful story, and as far as Beni Stabili is concerned, we gave a long-term perspective to the company in a European scale.
Aldo, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
For more interviews with European real estate leaders, be sure to visit REIT.com as well as EPRA.com.